up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I am talking about the man, Patricia, and what I want to see out of him in 2020, and really Bob Quinn. So let's get into it.
Baby, asking me while I'm chilling in the rain. I just tell them maybe it's easier to hide the pain. Everybody had
No, pretty much for sure that they are coming back for 2020. So that will be Patricia's third year as the Detroit Lions head coach, and I believe it'll be Bob Quinn's fifth year as our general manager. So fourth or fifth, okay? Either way, I'm going to be talking about what I want to see out of this team in 2020, okay? Now, again, knowing that Patricia is coming back, there's a lot of things that I want to see out of this team. Now, I've talked about it before in tons of videos, that it's not just, your record, because I think, maybe Stafford is healthy and we get 2-3 more wins, okay? Maybe we're 6-10. That doesn't make me happy, right? I'm not going to be happy. I'm going to be like, you got those wins because Stafford is here. And I've talked about it in other videos. Again, you guys can check these out. I'll probably have the little things up at the end. But basically, I've talked about it. Like, when Matthew Stafford, years ago, we would just squeak into the playoffs. Matthew Stafford was carrying us there, but we still weren't good enough to win those playoff games. And I think that would be the case right now, right? We may get a couple more wins, but we're still not a good team. It's just Matthew Stafford's able to pull out some of our games. Now, next season, I'm going to be talking about what I want to see. And not only that, but I'm also going to be looking at some of your guys' thoughts that I put up in the community. So I put up in the community. You guys got to check it out. In the community, I put up the question. I said, hey, what do y'all want to see in 2020 out of Patricia? And you guys had your answers, so I will react to those as well. First, before I do that, I want to give you guys what I want to see. Now, very simply, I got to see a playoff game. I mean, you got to get me to the playoffs in your third year, okay? Honestly, I really should be saying a playoff win. You have to get me to the playoffs next season. I think it's pretty simple like that, okay? They have to be in the playoffs next season. Now, there are a few exceptions. I don't want to see us in the playoffs with a terrible defense like we've had. Like, I don't want to see us squeak in 9-7 back in. We have a garbage defense. We get blown out, and the only reason we got there is because Stafford had 7 comebacks. That's not what I want to see. Specifically, I need to see defensive improvement, okay? This season, we have had a terrible defense. We've had one of the worst defenses we've ever had as a team. We have been awful. Now, last game against the Vikings wasn't too bad, but again, the season's basically over. Well, see, our season's over at this point. Detroit Lions defense has been so bad this year. They've really let us down in a lot of games that we should have or could have won because they weren't able to step up and get the job done. And knowing that Patricia is a defensive guy, I get it. Takes time, sure, but I need to see some improvement there, okay? You can't completely just keep declining, okay? We need to see improvement in 2020, or else I'm going to really try to make it. It's going to be hard for me to figure out, okay, I get you're bringing in your guys, but that's not working, bro. Like, it was working better before you had all your guys in. So, next year, defense has to improve statistically. Yes, stats, we have to improve. I understand there's been injuries, and that should be even more of a reason that this defense improves. If this defense doesn't improve in 2020, I could not believe the situation that this defense is more injured in next year than it is this year, okay? There's just no way. So if this defense doesn't improve in 2020, oh man, get this, man. Oh, someone needs to hold me back. But it can, and it should. It has to be better in 2020. Now, a running game, it has to be better. We're trying to work on that. I'm not honestly that concerned about the run game. If I'm being 100% honest, I'm not. Because our offense was still on fire even with not having one of the great run offenses. Darrell Bevell will get that going. It takes time. Rushing the football has never been something the Lions have ever been good at in a long time. But the reason I can say that, you may be like, well, you can't use that excuse for Darrell Bevell and not Patricia. But I can use that excuse because we still had one of the top offenses, even for a few weeks without Stafford. But with Stafford, we were by far one of the best offenses in the league, even with the bad rushing attack, because our passing game was outstanding. I mean, it was ridiculously good. That's why I can use that excuse. Defensively, we haven't been able to stop pass or the run. So those are two things. So this next year, we got to see improvement there. But I want to be honest, I need to see a playoff appearance, okay? I didn't say you had to go win the Super Bowl next season. I need to see the playoff appearance, okay? And again, I don't want to see it in the fashion that is Stafford carry us, we backed in, and we lost, okay? I just want to see this team be back in the hunt at the end of the year, okay? Because right now, this is hard to watch. I ain't gonna lie. So those are my thoughts. I'll give you more thoughts as I go through this, but I'm gonna give you guys my reaction to your guys' thoughts, so let's hop over there. So here we are with the comments. Now, if you guys are watching this, you're like, well, I commented. Why is my comment in there? Well, it's probably the time I'm recording, so just keep that in mind. But here you go. My question was, answer this question. What must Patricia do in 2020 to see him back in 2021, okay? Here we go. I'm going to be reacting to all of these, okay? Or you'll at least see it on here. I may not read or really focus on every single one, but let's get into it. We have another thing. Okay, so this is one I'll get back to because I'll get back to this one probably because I think he had other comments, but he says it's 0 home field advantage, which is kind of true. I mean, there's really not that much home field advantage, but that's expected when you have 3 wins. Now, let's get into this one. Fred Jackson. There's also a lot of bandwagon fans. Let me just say that. Okay, Fred Jackson. He does not need to come back because we was told 9-7 was not good. So you're going to bring this guy back after then. Comment guess what that tell me you bring him back. We going to have a terrible season next year. I'm sorry, I might not be able to read this one. So get ready for next year. I'm predicting 6-10. Ouch. Okay, now he had... Ooh. Okay, so basically Fred here says, this dude don't even need to come back for 2020 because I said, hey, assuming he comes back 2020. So he didn't want to talk about next year. I got you. Levi said, I believe he needs another offseason to get his players in which he believes fits the system, okay? He says from there, they need to improve the running game. They can prove improvement in the running game, in my opinion, by rushing for 100 yards per game. I believe the standard for next season shouldn't be measured in win, but in growth in separate areas. Hold up, read more. If you grow in your areas of target and then maintain that standard, eventually you will win games. Okay, I see where you're coming from, Levi. Levi, you try to hit me with the stats instead of the record. I feel you there because it is hard to gauge by record sometimes. But you said... you could gauge, so you really just talked about the running game, which I would focus more on the defense. Again, I personally am not worried about the running game. I understand if you are, and yes, I would love for it to be better, but man, our offense was so good anyways. I mean, who cared? I honestly didn't care. If Stafford was healthy, this offense was ridiculously good. I was like, I don't care if you don't run the ball or not. You don't need to run the ball. You run the ball if your offense isn't working, but it was working. Now, I don't think our rushing, it may be kind of far. I don't know. I don't think it's that far. I mean, especially since Bo Scarborough has come in, I don't think our rushing per game has been that terrible. I mean, you have to think. Let's look at this. Where we got? Yards per game. I mean, Baltimore, 200 a game. Geez, that's insane. 19. So the Lions right now are averaging over 100 yards rushing per game. They're averaging 102 yards per game rushing. So I think if you're talking about single player, I get you. If you're talking about the team, well, we're already doing that. I would focus more on the defense, but I understand what you're saying, okay? I understand what you're saying about not focusing on the wins and stuff. I get you. Next up, Travion Woodson. I think he's the one that actually want to see this. He says he has to be better 9-7 like Bob Quinn promised to the fans. Simple. Ooh, quick. That was quick and easy. I like that, Travion. Okay. Next up, Trenton. Trenton's my guy. He's always in here as well. He says he needs to change what his defense is doing. Okay, it's very simple. It's not looking good. He needs to try to get this team used to winning. He's on a contract through 2020, so if he builds a winning team next year in 2021, I see that he signs an extension. Right? Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm down for that. If we have a good season next year, I'm okay with giving him more years because hey, then I'm like, oh yeah, at least what you said and the process is working, so I'm good. He says at this moment, just might as well chalk this up to a losing season. Oh yeah, absolutely. He says try and get the second pick for Chase Young. But I do think this team can win. It's the defense. Also, the O-line needs some help. It's very much so the defense. It's, for most of the year, it's been the defense. Next up, JGV. I don't know why I said JGV. There's no G in there. General V. Was it a General G? You know what I meant? Okay, stop. He says win the division and start from there. Our record in the North is not 2-9 since he's got here. I can't read. He said that's got to change. I agree. 2-9. That's not good, my man. And this year, I don't think we haven't won a divisional game this year, so that really hurts. He says he needs to at least make a playoff game and maybe even win it and go 10-6. I feel you there, Captain. I feel you. We got first and M last. Okay, so this is like a second comment. He says, what I'm seeing in the comments is they have the same needs that they supposedly already addressed. Bob Quinn said he was satisfied with their depth, etc. He failed at running back, cornerback, O-line, defensive end, linebacker, tight end. He says the only defensive players were already here except Galladay. Before Millen 2.0 was hired. I'm sorry, man. I could just imagine someone say that. Look, he's filling running backs, quarterbacks, O-line, defensive line, like the way I feel that's coming off at me. I'm like, that's funny. Okay, let me look at these. Running back. That's just funny. Let's move on. Next up, we got Big Foron. Says, I think that's how you say it, win a playoff game. Yes, I would love to do that. Next up, Zubas. He says, NFC North playoff win or bust. Or bust it all up. He says, I'm calling it. Playoffs or bust. I'm with you on that one, my boy. He says he needs to control the clock and just find the motivation to win. We also just need an O-line and anyone on defense. Anyone on defense. That's the way to put it. I like that, Andrew. Then we see the gridiron blitz. He says, playoff win, point blank, period. That made me think of a song. Oh, I didn't give these likes yet. Hold up. He said, work on the dang defense. He has to upgrade. Get past rushing linebackers, be aggressive, and take more risk on defensive play calling. The problem is the line or the DBs. It's the use of linebackers. They don't come up on runs and never blitz. Okay, I see you, Maxi Mob. I don't think I've seen Maxi Mob before. And then finally, Rashad. Rashad's my guy. He says, I think we need to work hard because Patricia right now, I may be messing this up a little bit. Let me try again. I think we need to work hard because Matt Patricia right I think he meant now, and Bob Quinn are making excuses, and it makes the fans mad because he probably could be a comeback coach for 2020 and help us get in the playoffs. So I think the Lions need to believe as a team, and they never hit those standards, so they need in order to win a playoff game. Let's go in 2020, go Pride. Okay, I see you there. So those are what you guys had to say. Comment below what you guys think, but it's simple for me. Defense needs to be improved. And I want a better record. Look, I know that's and I'm not saying in the way that, oh yeah, I'd be happy with 6-10. No, I would not. But if we go 6-10 and it looks just like this, I'm not gonna be happy, y'all. I'm not. Okay, because here's my thing. We could have done that this year if Stafford's healthy. That wouldn't have made me happy. It's not necessarily the 3-9. I'll put up a video. It's not necessarily the 3-9-1. It's the improvement. And look, I'm okay with giving another year. Let's see it. He's gonna get another year. Okay. Let's see some improvement defensively, and let's see that record go up a little bit. Okay, stop. Let me hear your thoughts, comments below. These are my opinions. Let me hear your opinions. If you guys want to be featured on these, make sure you guys stay in the community, okay? Because y'all are missing out. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.